This is lesson 44 for Saxon 5, measuring lengths with a ruler. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to take a look at this with the ruler in question. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is a ruler. Okay. This ruler has both inches, centimeters, and millimeters. And we're going to start with the centimeter side. So these are centimeters. We've worked with those before. The big numbers that you see are the centimeters. The little lines that you see in between those big numbers are the millimeters. So if I had a line that went to here, okay, this would be, if it was in centimeters, it would be 7.5 centimeters or 7.5 centimeters. Or if we're looking at this in millimeters, each big number is 10 millimeters. So this would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And then we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 75 millimeters. Okay, if you notice, all I've done is for centimeters and millimeters is move the decimal over. Okay, decimal over, it becomes millimeters. Decimal over, it becomes centimeters. Let's take a look at another one. So if I was looking at this in millimeters, oh, sorry, that was off screen. This in millimeters, okay? I would look at it and I'd count my little lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 millimeters to get to that. Okay, if I was saying that in centimeters, if I was asked to convert 7 millimeters into centimeters, again, I would just take that decimal over there and I'd move it over 1, and that would become decimal 7 centimeters. Okay, it's all about movement of the decimal place. But centimeters and millimeters we have worked with before. There are lots of millimeters in the centimeters. That's the ones we normally work with. Now, inches are a little bit different. Okay, so these are inches. Okay, and if you notice on this ruler, it's really nice because it does give you some of the ideas of what is in each one. So with inches, you actually do it as fractions. Okay, so this is 1 inch. Okay, if I were to be here, this would be 1.5 inches. Okay, the inches column has different things. Now, your book only wants you to go up to 8ths, but I'm going to talk about 16ths as well because they're on the ruler. You need to know what they are. So if you count how many lines are between 1 and 2, you should have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 spaces. Okay, so that means I could say, if I had something going all the way from here to here, I could say that is 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 16ths. Or I could say it is 1 and, so if you notice some of these lines are different, okay? The tiny lines are 16ths, that's how we write them. The slightly bigger lines are 8ths. The larger lines are quarters, and the fully large line is a half. Okay, so we're kind of going up. So as you go up, it's 16ths, 8ths, quarters, halves. So this one would be, we're looking at the quarters, so 1, 2, 3 quarters. Okay, now this one and this one are the same fraction. Okay, if you were to take this fraction and put it into lowest terms, you do that by dividing both the top and the bottom by a number. Now this one, I can divide both of these by 4, okay, which gives me 16 divided by 4 is 4, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I get the same answer, okay? But this one, I counted all in 16ths. This one, I recognized where it was sitting on my ruler and just said it was 3/4 right away. This is where the inches comes a bit tricky, okay? Is you need to recognize where on the ruler you're looking. So if you have 1/16, that's probably just 1/16. But if you have 2/16, okay, that is equal to 1/8. Because if I took 2 divided by 2 would be 1, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 2/16 and 1/8 are the same. Okay, 3/16, again, all by itself, that's not going anywhere. Okay, then you have 4/16, and you suddenly have 2/8. Or instead of saying 2/8, you can also say 1/4. All right, so it's understanding where you are on the ruler. Okay, if you land on one of the tinier lines, they're 16. Next biggest, 8. Next biggest, quarters. And the really big one in the middle, okay, so this is kind of where you can go off of. The largest one in the middle of the ruler of all the numbers, that is a half. Okay, it is halfway. So those are halves. The ones that are the next smallest are quarters. The ones that are the next smallest after that are eighths, and the ones that are the tiniest are 16ths. So again, on a ruler, you have going from smallest to largest, 16ths, eighths, quarters, halves, and wholes. Okay, 16ths, eighths, quarters, halves, and wholes. It's just your job to recognize what line each line on the ruler means. Now, as I said, if it helps you at the beginning to get started, you can count all the lines and do everything as 16ths, and then convert 16ths over into your smaller ones. Because doing that, you will get lowest terms or the other lower fractions, okay? So if you have 8/16, if you put this into lowest terms, so I look for what number can divide both top and bottom, well, 8 can divide both. So if I divide 16 by 8, I get 8. And if I If I divide 16 by 8, I get 2, sorry. And if I divide 8 by 8, I get 1. Okay, so I get the half. So you can do everything as 16ths and just put it into lowest terms, and you'll get that other fraction until you get used to being able to recognize the lines. Or you can just go straight into, depending if you're able to do it or not, just go straight into recognizing lines. Again, this one is half because it's the longest and halfway in between. Next ones are quarters. Next ones are eighths, and the tiniest ones are 16ths. That is lesson 44 for Saxon 5, measuring lengths with a ruler.